Hey guys, Stucky here. You ever wanted to try the best version of the Action Network app? Well, now is the perfect opportunity to do so because we have a special offer to celebrate the month of March and the NCAA tournament. You can get pro access for just $9.99 for the first month. That will give you access to things like Sean Kerner's player prop projections, which are invaluable, real-time money percentages, and our model's biggest edges, and much more. All you have to do is head over to actionnetwork.com/madness. That's actionnetwork.com/madness and get there before the deal expires. Cheers. What's up, Degenerate Nation? Welcome to the Big Bets on Campus podcast presented by BetMGM. This is the conference tournament college basketball betting preview, part 1 of 10. I'm Stucky, and joining me for this episode is the one and only Mr. Mike Randall. No one else I'd rather kick things off with. We are going to cover today the Horizon, the Sun Belt, and the NEC. There'll be an episode that's also out today. They're going to cover 3 other conference tournaments that get kicked off early this week. And then we will have the other 8 episodes throughout. Let's say they'll all be out by next Monday. It's a beautiful time of the year. Wall-to-wall action in college basketball. March is almost officially here. I think the official start for me is when we have the first daytime conference tournament action. What's going on, Randall? You excited?
Man, if you know, you know. Listen, March Madness is great, popular. People love the Final Four. But for junkies like us who can't get enough college hoops, it starts with the conference tournaments, goes right into March Madness. That first weekend stuck, there's nothing better. Conference tournament season is so underrated here for sports bettors because there's upsets, there's value, and if you know the teams, you do have a big-time advantage.
Yep. Couple words of advice I will say. First, make sure you shop around. We're going to talk about futures. Do not take a worse price if there's a better one out there. It's the easiest thing you could do. You should do that always when it comes to every bet, but especially when you're dealing with the futures market. Also, you want to be, and we'll help you with this, be aware of injury situations, the format. Do they reseed, right? You might look at a bracket and project, okay, because matchups are super important this time of the year. Market's really efficient. We kind of know who these teams are from a power ratings perspective. Matchups matter. If you look at just the bracket and you see, okay, this team's going to play this team in the second round, might not be the case because they might reseed, which the Horizon does. And we will start there. The Horizon League tournament. I love this league because there's so many different contrasting styles. You have some, a lot of zone defenses. You have some presses. So there's different contrasting styles and makes for some fascinating matchups. This is a league where all 11 teams make it, which means, yes, Detroit, you did get in. The top 5 seeds get a bye to the quarterfinals. And the first 2 rounds will be played on campus sites. Then the semis will be played in Indianapolis. The one thing I don't like about this conference tournament is I like conference tournaments that really reward the regular season winners. I mean, it's a whole body of work. I think the WCC is the most extreme of these, where you get like the top 2 seeds get a triple bye into the semis. That's not necessarily the case here. And I also like other tournaments, which we'll talk about, where you have to win like 3 games. You have to win like 4 games in 4 days if you want to win it as like a 10 seed. That's not the case here. First round games on Tuesday, quarters on Thursday. You get a nice break till Monday, and then whoever comes out on Monday has to play back-to-back on Tuesday. So, bench depth doesn't really matter as much for the Horizon. Oakland did get the number 1 overall seed. They are, I think close to 2-1 to cut down the nets. I actually think that they're pretty vulnerable. Plus 250, I think you can get out there. Pretty vulnerable top seed. They're a jump shot reliant offense, and they play a zone defense. I think that leaves them a little vulnerable. The way that we're going to approach this is we'll talk about who we like to win it, potential sleeper, and then maybe a long shot, and then any matchups that you want to mention. So, Randall, I'll let you kick things off. What are you seeing in the Horizon League?
Yeah, first a little history stuck. So you go back to the last 5 tournaments, did some research here. Only one time did a 1 seed not only win, but make the championship game. That was Northern Kentucky back in 2019 when they beat Wright State. We've had a 2 versus an 8, a 1 versus a 2, a 2 versus a 5, 4 versus a 3, and a 2 versus a 3. And you hit all the salient points which matter.
But by the way, take that a step further. Over the past 10 tournaments, the winner of the 4-5 game has won this tournament as many times at 5. So the winner of the 4-5 game has won this tournament 5 of the past 10, and the top 2 seeds have won the other 5. So winner of 4-5 has won just as many as the 1-2 seeds. Very chaotic tournament historically, but go ahead.
Yeah, which again, double-edged sword, punishes the teams, like you said, that dominate during the regular season and do the best, but it also makes for a crazy tournament. So a couple things I noticed here. First off, you mentioned it. You have the Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday. So there's plenty of time here except for the Monday to Tuesday, and that's at a neutral site. So the first thing that jumped out to me is we're going to talk about Noah Reynolds and whether he is going to be available for Green Bay or not. Stuck odd with Green Bay. First time since 2000, 2001 that they only have one player averaging in double digits, and Reynolds is hurt. Of course, his status with the high mid-ankle sprain we're trying to figure out. But to get that double bye, Wright State, Northern Kentucky at the 4-5 get a double bye, but they know that they're playing each other. So the other teams, Oakland, Youngstown, Green Bay, I think have a little bit of an advantage here because they're going to be playing an inferior opponent. But I agree with you. I think Oakland is vulnerable. The odds to me, very odd as well. I think there's value in different parts of the bracket here. And there's one I like that's going to play on Tuesday. We'll get into that.
Yeah, if you're looking at, I'm out on Green Bay. They stumbled down the stretch. They lost 4 or 5. Heard some bad things about the locker room and some things going on there that I won't get into. But I think that they're extremely vulnerable. And we don't know the status of Reynolds. He's obviously huge. So their losing streak coincided with him being hurt. He averages, I think, 20 a game. And so I think they just got crushed. Milwaukee basically has a bye. They played Detroit in the first round. So I think if you're looking for a super long shot, maybe Milwaukee because they get to play Green Bay. And then, look, they got swept by the top 2 seeds, Oakland and Youngstown, but 3 of the 4 games went to overtime.
Yep.
So they were right there, and they split with Wright State. So because I think Green Bay is vulnerable, I think Milwaukee is intriguing, like 30 to 40 to 1 shot. If you're looking for a lottery ticket, my team, and look, I'm also out on Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know this, not positive, but Itahire, the Marquette transfer, he's been out. I don't think he's going to play. They already lost Sam Vincent, and they play an extended matchup zone. That's the top and the bottom of their zone. And Northern Kentucky is just not the same team. I would be very intrigued by the Norse if they were at full strength. They're not. So I'd like at Wright State to get by that game. Wright State has the best offense in the league, and they grade out the lead against zone, man, press. Their offense can shred. Now, they can't stop a nosebleed, but I think Wright State at plus 320 is the team I'm targeting here. The one thing that gives me pause, they can shoot. They do everything well on offense. Very rim-reliant offense, post-heavy. They got swept by Youngstown, and Youngstown has the best rim defense in the league. They could bring in, off the bench, they bring in a pair of 7-footers. They're, I think, 91st percentile defending at the rim. They won both meetings against Wright State by double digits, which scares me a bit. Youngstown's around plus 250. And because of the reseeding, if Wright State wins, and then if what I think happens, if Milwaukee beats Green Bay, or there's more chaos, then that lower seed from the bottom would potentially play Oakland, and then Wright State would play Youngstown in the semis, which I don't want. So that gives me a little bit of pause, but my pick is the Wright State offense. They could simply outscore everyone in this tournament. They're going to have to. They don't stop anyone on defense. But what about you? Who do you like as a potential long shot or just to cut down the nets?
Yeah, 2. First, the Green Bay, I'm out on them as well. No Noah Reynolds. In fact, I think it's a incredible draw for Milwaukee if they get to play Green Bay. Yes, the game would be at Green Bay. Rivalry, not a problem with that, and Green Bay is shorthanded. So to me, Stuck, I'm getting odds here, like you said, for Milwaukee, 30 to 1, whatever it is. And I think they're absolutely flying into the semifinals. So that is my value right there. That's my long shot, but it's also a value. I agree. I think Wright State greater than Northern Kentucky as well. So looking at it, I love Wright State with their odds. I love Milwaukee as a long shot as well. I like Oakland a little better than Youngstown. I get it. I just believe in Campy. And I think Oakland can mess things up a little bit with the way they play defense and their matchups and their experience. Youngstown, I'm not sure about them. A little bit up and down. They push the pace. They're the best defensive team in the horizon, like you said, at the rim. They've been fortunate with teams of poor free throw shooting against them as well. They did have a lot of experience, but it took a while to gel because they only 309th in minutes continuity. So it took a while for them to get going. They are hot with 3 straight wins, 4 of the last 5. But I lean Wright State, and I really love Milwaukee. BJ Freeman is playing at a different level right now. They would crush Detroit, and then they get the Green Bay game. BJ Freeman is taking over, and they've won without him stuck. They won at Cleveland State without BJ Freeman, and he is simply playing at another level. Really struggled to start the year. I think he was suspended for something, or he couldn't play for a game. Something happened early on, but focusing on Wright State, focusing on Milwaukee. If I had to choose between Oakland and Youngstown, I'll take Oakland here because I like their odds a little bit better. Oakland, you can get better than Youngstown. Youngstown is the favorite, and I don't like taking the favorite in the horizon. Call me crazy.
Yeah, I don't see any value in Oakland. I think they're a pretty vulnerable one as far as mid-majors go. And then because of, Green Bay, Northern Kentucky, the 2 and 5 seed being, shorthanded, I think that opens up some opportunities for these other seeds. Milwaukee, Wright State's my pick to cut down the nets. Milwaukee, if you're looking for a longer shot, just throw some couch change for, a week on a 30-1 shot. So we're
Hey,
on the same page here.
Stuck, let me ask you, what do you think about Purdue Fort Wayne? Because they're the team more than likely that would face Oakland. What do you think about them in a matchup with Oakland?
Yeah, I don't really trust them, but yeah, Fort Wayne, I would need like 20-1, I think.
Okay.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that they could beat Oakland. Looking at their looking at their results this year, they beat Oakland by 21 on the road. I remember that game in early December. They lost at home by 8. I don't trust their they can't rebound, and I don't trust their interior defense if they have to face Wright State, which I think they would in the semis. So I think I would need like 20-1 to play them. And yeah, but I don't think that they don't have a shot against Oakland, but price is a little too short for me. So who's your pick? I'm picking Wright State to cut down the net. So you got
I'm taking Milwaukee. I'm taking
Okay.
Milwaukee. I think they get a pass. I think they're hot, and I think they can get the right matchup here in the semis.
Okay. I'm going with the winner of the 4-5 game, cutting down the nets for the 6th time in 11 years. And I think Wright State will probably be like against Northern Kentucky, 6-ish point favorite at home. If you're, and they actually just played, which is interesting. So Wright State gets to see that Northern Kentucky zone for a 2nd straight game. And Wright State, in true Wright State fashion, Warwick went off for Northern Kentucky. He scored 39, but Wright State beat them 94-88. You want a summary of Wright State? Number 2 in the country in effective field goal percentage, including top 10 in 2-point and 3-point percentage. Number 349 in effective field goal percentage defense, 341, 342 against 3s and 2s. Elite offense, horrendous defense. All right, good stuff on the horizon. It's finally March, so you know what that means. It's time to say top of the morning to the most famous St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Shavers, our new sponsor, Manscaped. Don't just chase rainbows this March. Make your own pot of gold and groom your little leprechaun with the leaders in below-the-kilt care. Clear your clover forest with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com and use code BBOC for 20% off plus free shipping. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is your new lucky charm, and it's fully waterproof. So go ahead, shave by the misty moors, shave under a waterfall, shave while betting a second half total. The world is yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with code BBOC at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with code BBOC at manscaped.com. This St. Patrick's Day, make sure your hairy little leprechaun is luckier than ever with Manscaped.